Hi, welcome back to FutureFast, and Srinivas, welcome once again. And those of you who are here for the first time, we have Srinivas with us. He's the founder and CEO of Vigyan Labs. And for you to understand uh, his journey, I hope you have seen it. If you have not seen it, please go back and check his our previous conversation with Srinivas, where he talks about his journey and where his uh, uh, builder and maker journey of Srinivas and what got him to become an entrepreneur and what are the things he worked on and where we got down to today. And in this conversation, we'll talk about. So, Srinivas, thank you once again for joining us. And so today, what is your focus? Of course, the energy management product is your focus, but we talked about briefly from why you got on to thinking about it from I think your experience of Aadhaar. That's what you saw, and it is very clearly you saw there is a huge demand, need, and opportunity to pursue that. But where are you headed in that sense? The uh, where is that? What is the size, scope, scale of this today?
Okay. So we have come a long way, basically today, as we just spoke earlier, a lot of inputs today come from our customers, and what are the kinds of challenges they face. And we have actually segregated the products into three verticals, right? One is the endpoint, which talks about the endpoint devices, right? Endpoint devices, PCs, desktops, laptops, mini servers, printers, tablets, so on, one vertical, right? Then we have the cloud, right? Cloud vertical. Third one is a building management solution, right? So three verticals.
Right.
Three verticals. So what we have done today, focus, one of the things, what we saw forthcoming was, AI. I think, AI was forthcoming. Long back, we saw it for 4 or 5 years back. We do have a couple of patents filed on AI already.
Okay.
Granted patents, not just filed, granted patents in AI. And then, and then along with that, let me take one at a time, right? Vertical endpoints.
Yeah.
As I think I would say repivoted during the COVID time, because many of the customers whom we were working with, large banking customers in India, insurance customers in India, they had a peculiar need when the COVID came in. They were using our products for energy management, but they were using a lot of other products, third-party products, But many of the products which worked fairly well in enterprise, when people moved to work from home, remote locations, the products didn't work, right? Because your security model was different, your bandwidth was different, network was different. There are so many challenges which people face, right? Many companies, for example, could not push the patches to the desktops or laptop when people are working in a remote network.
Right.
So security was compromised, compliance was an issue, tracking assets was an issue, many issues came in. And a few of the customers came back and told us, hey, I like your product. I've been using it for a while. Can you do something more for me? Can you add a few more things? I'm willing to work because I also had a good working relationship with them. Can you add these modules? I will certainly buy them. I'm willing to replace other third-party products for which I have so many challenges when you do this thing. I think during the COVID time, pretty much, from endpoint energy management, we went to a unified endpoint management completely, right? We added, asset components, asset management, patch management, security, productivity, right? All the modules became, and so that product has got a bigger life now. So we're probably the only product in the market which does completely end-to-end management. Along with it can also save you substantial money in terms of energy and sustainability, right? So now the product has taken a new avatar and is addressing a bigger market, right? So we do see a lot of small and medium companies in India coming to us because there's one product which can give you ROI, really, right? Measurable ROI. So you buy the license, software, but it also saves money for me. So
what percentage of your business is international today, rather the Western world?
Yes, I think after the COVID, I think we've just been focused on mostly India business, right? Right now, 90% is India right now. 80% probably is India business, or 20% comes abroad.
Okay.
And working in India gave us a lot of perspective, a different kind of challenge, right? Challenge, and addressing the market. You have to be nimble.
Right.
Cost is a very important factor. And your product has to do a lot more things, right? A lot more things. So people want
and your competition are all multinationals, right?
Yeah, most of them
are there Indian companies? I have not heard of Indian companies.
No, I think people are doing bits and pieces. Probably globally, we are the only product company for the environment who have everything, right? Everything in one box, one agent, one console, which does everything end to end, right?
All right. And how do you see competing with these multinational big names? Even in India, I think somewhere always, people tend to lean on a bigger international brand versus an Indian company, right?
I think we do have fairly big brands today. We have the largest bank, SBI, using our product. We have quite a large company today. So we have fairly large customers, big brands in the country trusting us. And it's slowly pick up, right? People are seeing the value, right? What we can provide, right? What we can provide, the kind of the product quality, engineering, reliability we're able to provide, and at a price point which is affordable, right? Price points again, as long as you provide the right technology at a proper price point, then there's a good ROI for customers. I think there's people. I don't think reason, right?
Here, see, one thing my observation has been that we Indian entrepreneurs, right, are pretty bad at our way of pricing our product to solution.
Yeah.
Right. We attribute far more to be competitive than what we deserve, right?
Yeah.
And our easiest way to compete or approach competition is by going with a very low margin. So how did you go about it? I mean, what was your influencing factors in pricing?
Our influencing factor was that basically, see, our product, because with our AI engine, so multiple things, right? From the overall perspective, I look at the total cost of ownership, not just the product pricing, right? What does it mean, right? How many people does a customer need to manage a product? We say we hardly need any full-time person because it's fully automated, right? AI-driven product, which is a single console. And the single agent, right? Single agent does everything. So number of resources required from the customer is very, very minimal. Then we have energy management, right? Energy management does a huge amount of saving. Almost anywhere between 800,000 rupees per PC desktop you're able to save just purely on energy. And you also get your sustainability metric place, right? Sustainability numbers can actually go into your scorecard in your annual report, right? So I think while we have sustainability as a factor, and we take ESG compliance and sustainability, I think we do have a value proposition which I don't think anybody can match, right? As large part of the product licensing fee subsidized by our energy management solution, right? I think that's a win-win for both of us and the customer. I think it's not a simply
That's true, but see, compared to your competition, your pricings are very low, right? I mean, don't you see that you actually could still charge a higher fee and still monetize a lot more doing the same thing?
I think we are, fairly charging. I think as I today, I think as we add more and more features, our products will, probably, see the pricing is a function of two things, right? One is the product maturity and acceptance in the market, right? As we establish.
But now with the ESG
coming in, I think
that
probably
opens up a huge opportunity.
Huge opportunity, and I think we're quite surprised. Last 2 quarters, we are seeing a big uptick in the small and medium sector.
Also, that could make you a potential acquisition target to some of these bigger guys, right? Have you had anyone approaching you for that?
Not right now. Yeah.
Okay, but that could potentially make you. So, would you go for it? I mean, if someone approaches, I'm just curious.
Maybe not right now. Maybe at the right time, right? Yeah, right time at the right place, probably. Yeah.
Okay. So, one other thing is that the recently Government of India also uh, uh, legalized carbon trading.
Yeah.
So I think that is another area of opportunity, because a system like you could actually is better place for people to even understand what is my company's opportunity. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it was not even in the view, right? Today,
Yeah.
it is actually in my view, and potentially a company like you would make it much easy. So, how do you see this? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think it should this will give a better value proposition for our products. If you look at the carbon trade today, international market, the CDRs are selling today's rate. I don't know. Today, I just last week it was more than 100 euros per ton of CO2 emissions saved.
Right.
If you look at today, customers in India, we have said hundreds of tons, hundreds and thousands of tons of CO2 potentially.
But those days it was probably just to mention, right? Today
yeah.
it is actually dollars.
Yes. Today I think it's the carbon credits becoming so expensive. It's other opportunity for us and our customers to get a better value proposition for them. So our solution across the board could be endpoint, buildings, or data center. Across the board, it gives a better value proposition for all of us, right? And better pricing model for us.
So since you already had a ESG reporting incorporated in your product services, so do you also have a view to what is the carbon generated in the whole process? Because ESG reporting probably you have already had it.
Yeah, if you look at today, many of our customers at SBI, in their annual report, publish the data from our product dashboard. So they actually say how much of CO2 emissions they saved, how much energy they saved. And example, HDFC publishes, we have HGS, we have quite a few customers taking our product dashboard and publishing their annual report, right? So out of the box, our product gives you a sustainability report, right? And people are publishing there in their report.
So probably it's not easy for you to even stitch a carbon trading platform API into you, and I think it just opens up a huge monetization opportunity for you.
Yes. Yeah, we're actively looking at the carbon trading platform. Price, historically they were around 10, 20 euros. It's not viable right now. Suddenly last 3 months it has shot up to $100 and people say.
No, but also most importantly, Indian companies didn't have a view to what is their carbon spend, right?
Yes.
So that is something which your system actually organically is already bringing in. So there is nobody has to go back and try to think from where. So you're already putting it out in your dashboard. So it's probably a quick plug-in, and this could probably your ticket to a big IPO.
I don't know, I thought about it, but I think this of course is a ticket to a big opportunity, huge opportunity, waiting literally.
How do you see the tokenization that is, some of them are already trying out, right? Tokenizing the carbon footprint and then trading as tokens from a point of crypto assets. So how do you see that playing out, and do you have any view on that?
See, for the carbon grade part, we need to think a little bit about the tokenization. But if you look at the broadly tokenization, probably anonymizes, right? The source. Quickly you secure, you don't know who is it, right? Whose data is it, right? Whose data. So you can look at, what we talk about PII, right? Look at the credit card world, right? Using tokenization, it makes you PCI compliant, right? Correct. So in the carbon footprint, you don't need to disclose what you have saved, where you have saved. Pretty much tokenization anonymizes the data, right? So it's sort of your, just like PII or confirmed company information data is sort of secure, right? Secure.
Right.
So it makes it probably trading much more easier, right? And secure. Because we have heard, last year about greenwashing, right? People sold, bogus carbon credits, right? Why the carbon market went bad is,
Correct.
People are doing greenwashing.
So that is where tokenization is such a simple solution for all these kind of fake market opportunities.
Yes. Of course, it will make things secure. The buyer is sure, that this, this data is genuine, right? I'm sure this is going to, as the market evolves, tokenization is going to play a big role in terms of carbon credits, carbon trading, right?
So, are you open to look at doing some kind of an integration on tokenization with your product portfolio?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, probably I'll take it up on offline conversation with you on that part, since we are working on tokenization with somebody.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you. See, as a CEO, there are you obviously have to take every decision, right? From an operations point of view, there are a whole lot of things, and also as as a person that you are, as a maker, that you also are driven to work towards uh, initiatives that are more long-term driven, right? From a building a product for the future or an innovation, which obviously takes a much lot. Uh, uh, you need to think differently
Yeah.
about working towards something that has a immediate impact versus working to something that has a long-term impact. So how do you balance it? How do you approach it?
See, there are two multiple things, right? If you look at the whole effort, let's say you have 100, right? 100%. Where should the effort go, right? 60
Right.
to 60 to 70% effort to go to your day-to-day, basically running the existing business, right? Earning revenue, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, 10-20% you should start thinking in the long term, right? Long term, 10% in medium term and probably 10% you look at the longer term, right? Where is the industry headed, right? Where is the industry? Because we saw AI coming long back, 3-4 years we saw. So we built our AI engine, right? So we're not running, we're just not waiting to react to
And
ChatGPT. We were there, right?
but is it fair to say even Aadhaar's effort probably activated your antenna up for the AI? Because I think Aadhaar was again a huge data play. So eventually AI, everything with a
Probably
huge
many,
data
many,
play.
many, many things, right? If you look at the energy management, right? Look at today, we had to
Right.
learn. Basically, before the AI came in, it was like a configuration of the AI, right? So basically, just to give an example, how we apply AI to energy management, right? You want to turn off a device, turn on a device. Basically, you save energy by turning on, turning off something, or putting it to low power mode. Historically, what people used to do was put something, time out, right? If something is not there for 5 minutes, turn it off. Something else for 30 minutes. What we call as a very intrusive mechanism. Because you can't set the timing for everybody, right? Every person behavior is different. So we have to
Correct.
hyper personalize things to the individual's behavior, right? What time you come and work, you may come a different time to work, you may turn on your computer at a different time. The server in the cloud may work on different times. There's too many factors, right? Too many parameters. And these are
Correct.
the parameters has to be personalized for every person, every environment. Right? It's manually impossible.
Correct.
Impossible for IT administrator to go and figure out, right? It's next to impossible.
Right. Right.
And we had huge amount of data. Where, then that's where we start applying AI to automate things, right? Where automate things and figure out what to hyper personalize the things for every person, individual, or a building or something, right? Personalizing everything. And that's how we started. And then just taken off, a lot of new things. The same AI engine now does many things, right? No?
That's interesting. See, employing AI at a micro level or at a hyper localizing
Yeah.
would also involve a lot more energy consumption, right? Because you actually have to run those algorithms at every system level.
Yeah. See,
So
one of
won't
the
that
things,
make it very heavy for the whole network then?
no, I think, see, that's as we said, everything we do focus on energy and efficiency, right? So all
Right.
the tools we actually look at the code. For AI algorithm, we don't run a GPU. We run a normal CPU. All the
Okay.
code is run C++, right? It hardly consumes our engines on it. For example, just like a laptop, desktops, or servers. Consumes just 0.1% resources, 0.1% CPU. That's it.
So
You focus.
basically, you're basically tracking their behavior pattern from a point of simple pointers, right? On, off, when the window goes up, down, how long it's up.
Many
So,
parameters. So
so
basically,
basically, you look at uh, almost binary data points. So you're not making it very heavy. So that's how you are able to look at approaching it like this.
not binary. I think we have a lot of data points, right? What applications run, what's the utilization.
Okay.
A lot of data points. So I said we focus on AI at the edge from the beginning. Because I
Hmm.
can't send it to the cloud for decision to be taken because most of the use cases were there, such that I have to take decision in real time. I have to
Right.
take the
But you're
decision
you're
there.
not using the camera. There's
We use many things. That's why so
oh, you
that's why
do?
our
Okay.
goal was to
But
make
you are
so
able to do that without the GPU?
yes, that's why we had to build our own AI engine. We call it a power mind and the
Okay.
lightweight C++. So people don't even know that our AI engine. That's a small C++ code sitting in every device, right? So we are talking about AI at the edge. I think we were there few years back, and when you designed the AI engine, because many times it has to be distributed, right? So device may be
Right.
distributed, may not be connected to the network, it could be autonomous. So we looked at some fundamental principles. I would say
Right.
nature's principles, right? Nature's principles are being autonomous, being distributed, being self-aware, right? To incorporate principles, right? We have to design a product with these constraints in mind, right?
Well, in that could be employed in many other scenarios then, right? Have you thought of putting that out? I mean, do you have any other product offering or
See, the AI is
open
uploading
sourcing?
right now. I think we are busy, so we have two more verticals, right? We use in the cloud, edge cloud, in the cloud, right? Cloud for
Yeah,
automating the
I think
HVACs.
in Edge, I
It's
think
just
it's a
one
fantastic use
cloud.
case.
So we are using in the cloud. We are using smart buildings today to manage. Example, where I am sitting today. Basically, there are multiple sensors, right? So example, there's a motion sensor, there's a human presence sensor, there's a lux, there's a humidity temperature sensor. These sensors is a small footprint device. I can't send it to a cloud or a gateway to take decision, right? It's a small footprint with little energy.
Right.
So this device takes care of this small sensor takes care of controlling the lighting and the HVAC, right? Air conditioning. So this other use case we have taken. We have used the use case again in the facial recognition. For example, we have a access control system in a building data center. Okay, so we actually applied it to many use cases, right? A facial recognition in real time at the edge, not going to the cloud, right? To the edge.
Okay.
Then thermal management, controlling of HVACs, server energy management. I think we apply to large number of use cases, right? I think we have tons of more use cases to apply. Right now we are applying security, right? Modeling, threat modeling, and so on, right? So I think we do see our own use cases are plenty right now to apply this model and get the benefits out of it.
All right. Yeah. And yeah, I think this is another huge opportunity area. Probably if you could license this out or I don't know if you want to do an open license that takes away your value, but if you want to license it, I think you can, a lot more solutions can be built on top of it. Yeah. Wonderful. And in this context, how do you prioritize your decision making? See, one is that it is very easily said, right? That you allocate X percentage here, Y percentage here, Z percentage here. But realistically speaking, there is a very different mindset required to be doing these things, right? It's just not about opening a different folder. It's so how do you prioritize on things of this nature, right? From operations to an R&D and a product development, and even for that matter, what we just talked about from a point of developing multiple use cases of the AI. Edge is a classic use case, but it's a huge opportunity as well. So how do you prioritize which one to go after? And is that something that you work with your team, or is that you also have your advisory board who helps you advise, or how do you go about it?
There is an advisor, but also a team, right? We have verticals and verticalize the products, right? So we have a leader for every vertical, right? Literally, it's a team. They have a fair amount of freedom to run the business, right? Run the business. They also have to meet the business goals, right? Objectives are there.
Yeah.
So there's a run the business.
How do you prioritize from how much of your time into each of these?
A small amount of time, because as a business, you need to keep thinking, right? What's going to happen, right? So COVID was eye opener, right? There'll always be some black swan events. You need to keep aware of it, right?
Sure.
Aware of it. While something goes into operations or running the business as usual, probably spend some amount of time. You need to keep reading, right? So I spend almost an hour or two daily reading, right? Reading what's happening in the world, what's happening. I also spend time talking to customers, right? And also we have a lot of and very good net of entrepreneurs, right? Entire around, right? So talk to them frequently, right? But co-founders, other companies, right? Friends, talk to them what's happening in the industry. Also meet customers and keep reading, right? What's happening in the world.
But how do you see this now? GTP3 could potentially put a lot of smaller players to compete with you with your AI solution, right? I mean, is that a strong possibility? Is that a threat for you?
I don't say threat. See, there is always in execution, right? ChatGPT is somewhere taking it to making it a product and converting it. See, ChatGPT may help in many other ways. Right? Today is conversational AI, right? Okay,
right.
Conversational AI. Yes, probably it will help us. Already we have started using some of these AI tools in our marketing, sales, and everything. It helps you a lot more to do things a lot more productively, right, than what you were doing earlier. You don't have to go to Google and search. You can use some of these tools to narrow down what you're looking for.
No, correct. I think what you're talking about from a point of being able to work on edge computing I can just go on thinking, it can probably just see integrating it into an e-commerce platform and giving a personalized, truly personalized engagement at an individual buyer who's been with them, because still, some of the recommendation engines they really suck, right? Even Amazon. So, so even GPT-3 integration could change it significantly, or what you're doing can change it significantly.
Yeah, I think this conversational AI can be a game changer for everybody.
Yeah.
Because you look at today, historically, we have looked at the man-machine interaction as through, keyboard, right? Keyboard touch and voice and video. What I envision in the future, maybe 5-10 years down the line, there may not be a computer like what we see today. Why do you need a computer? I don't need, right? I don't need. The computer will be universal, right? Universal, embedded everywhere. Just like electricity is there everywhere, it will be ubiquitous. And, you have a small chip or some device, plug into your ear, and you could talk to it and it can be done, right? So we have the networks that are available today. Network communication is already almost, it's 5G and 6G coming in.
Right.
Why do you need a display, keyboard? Maybe the form factor of the device will completely change, right? That's where I think
Absolutely. In fact, you already jumped to next conversation on future trends and predictions. But I just want to pull you back in here. How is your work from an ecosystem standpoint? How is the industry supporting you, the industry bodies, and the whole ecosystem in terms of what kind of ecosystem exists from a power management system point of view, and in the Indian industry bodies and ecosystem, how are they looking at it? How strengthening or not contributing if they are not contributing? How do you see that?
I think a couple of people, right? See, people who work with us closely, right? For example, NASCOM. I think NASCOM, I think we have been working with them for the last couple of years, right? So last year, I think, during the COVID time frame, I think we were the winner in the NASCOM and sustainability category, because we were the ones who actually could really make an impact in terms of the innovation after sustainability. This year also, I think recently NASCOM showcased our products to a lot of customers in NASCOM product contest, right? So I think NASCOM has been a big support of us, evangelizing our products to the corporates and showcasing our products and technology.
So does it really translate to significant business?
I think just slowly happening, a lot more recognition, industry body. And then I think because of all this publicity in the market research, recently market research from the US, they listed us as one of the key players in the endpoint management. If you look at the endpoint management, the big players. We have been in the latest report as of February 2023. We have been listed as one of the key emerging players in the unified endpoint management globally.
Do you also work with any of these crypto companies? See, one, there are companies who make these devices specifically for mining Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They are big time energy guzzlers. So obviously, a lot of effort is happening there. But these are specific devices. They are also sold in India, though legally mining is not permitted in India. But if you are doing it non-commercially, there is no rule to say that you should not be. So one is that, and two, there are also quite a few new crypto companies have come up in a similar fashion. They are building their own proprietary boxes, and so their model of go-to-market itself is to sell that. So is there anybody approaching you? Are you looking at them as a potential market segment to, stitch in your power management solutions? I think that can be a significant game changer for both of you, right?
We have been talking to a couple of OEMs, right? Hardware manufacturers.
Okay.
So we have been in discussion with a few OEMs, who can bundle the energy saving solution into their product, right? So active discussions are going on right now, which is bear fruit in near future. Yeah.
But any of these crypto players?
Not crypto, basically the hardware OEMs, right?
The traditional
the board manufacturers. A couple of them are already.
Right.
We've been talking to them.
Right.
Laptop manufacturers. There are quite a few OEMs who are already talking to us actively to integrate our technology into their platform, right? Into their product. So
Right.
factory fitted, right? From the
Correct.
production
Correct.
process, yeah. So that can probably address a larger market quickly. Yeah.
Right. And these, do you see any other Indian company based in India who's making a significant impact in this space?
See, these people have focused on other areas. Right? The building automation is there, a couple of things are there. But in the IT and data center, I don't think anybody is working in this area, right?
You're also in the building automation space.
Building
well,
automation
right?
space. For us, the building is a superset of everything, right? The building has
Right.
lights, sensors. So we didn't start the other way.
So most of your competition is in that space.
That space, but I think we are probably the only one which has a unified solution, right? Because if you look at it from a customer point of view, what all I have in a building? I have HVAC, right? I have computers, I have servers, could be more server room, I have lighting, equipment.
No, but this is where most of the people came in initially, right? With similar solutions. At least maybe may not be as effective with the integration of AI and all that, but that is where a lot of players came in, right?
Yeah.
So today, when you talk about a unified solution, how easy is the game becoming for you? I think it still remains equally challenging.
No, it becomes much easier because when customers have one product to manage, one dashboard for sustainability, right? I want to measure the carbon footprint in one place. Because otherwise, how will you take data from different sources and manage them?
Do you have a system where you can stitch somebody else's data also to your dashboard? Do you offer that as a solution, or you insist that no, it has to be?
See, we have cases where, example, we integrate our product as standard system, right? A couple of customers are
Oh, you
standards,
have, okay.
Standard BMS.
Right.
So basically, we also pull data from the standards BMS and integrate into our dashboard, right?
So that is a necessity, right? I mean, you have to have.
Because we work as standard protocols, right? Everything is proprietary. We use industry standard protocols. Pretty much you can pull data from any source, right? And show it in our unified dashboard.
And do you see a point where you actually can stop supporting them and try to go? So that becomes a way to
see the market is so huge, right? Look at the whole. So just look at the energy market. It's just so huge. I don't think any one player can. I think you have to coexist, right? Compete, co-option, right?
No, that is true. But when you propose as a unified solution, then it's somewhere it starts demanding that it makes it easy for a consumer. So you start doing it. So I'll give you the whole thing and take it here.
I think we do have an option, right? See, basically, just look at the customer perspective, right? There are legacy devices, legacy platforms there. You have to integrate them, right? Integrate them. You can't rip and replace, right? Can't say, right? So you need to coexist. You have to integrate with other systems, and that's all, right? The greenfield, they can do everything from scratch, right? On a brownfield, you have to integrate with other products, right? I don't think there's much choice there.
See, how do you see now? See, in the West, there was not much thought given into power management per se because they had abundance of power, right? And today, India having invested for almost 35 nuclear power plants.
Yeah.
So going forward, I think somewhere India will also get into a point of thinking that we don't have to worry about power. We have access. So, of course, apart from ESG and other global warming, climate change, those aspects driving it. But problem is innovation is easily driven by scarcity, demand. When you don't have scarcity, how do you see your product evolution happening in that context?
See, there are two things. One is scarcity, is there cost there. Energy costs are not going to go down, right? They're going to increase only, right? Energy costs are going to go down. And with
it will somewhere stabilize with so much of energy available, with so much of investment green energy and such.
So look at today, energy green. Today, the storage, energy storage is still expensive, right? The storage, So look at renewable energy, it can only is a seasonal, right? Solar you can only have, depend on the point of the time of the day, you can only have to store, right? You can't use, right? So they still have limitations. Wind power has limitations, seasonal. We still have challenges. I think energy problem is going to remain. If you look at the last 100 years, look at the history, right? Energy production increased almost, 8 to 10 times. But consumption has increased beyond that, right? Beyond that,
Correct.
Look at EV today. EV today, right?
Right.
See, because the concept, see, you make it easier, consume more, right? Because moment you make it efficient, people consume more. It's been like that. It's been like, look at the history, right? Last 30, 40 years, even the digital industry came in. Make it efficient, people consume more, right? I think it's a never-ending game, right?
I'm completely with you. I think we will invent more things where we consume more energy, right? And also, I think biggest aspect is that I think a lot of the same ESG and climate change will also drive us to think more on the 360-degree of everything, right? Afterlife of battery. So that will also consume a lot of energy to either to even to put them into repurpose or recycle or make them more friendly even to junk them. So there will be a lot of energy consumed. But from a mindset point of view, when we have something in excess and using a power management solution for measure, manage, so that perception may not be sustained for long. So that is where I was coming you from. But yes, energy will remain more in demand because more devices will come. Life will always be consumed by more energy demanding things. But otherwise, what do you see as a future threat for you? I mean, do you see anything? I mean, what are the things that you think could be a possible threat for the line of work you're doing in future?
See, we are just, energy is one part. I said we are pivoted, right? We added a lot of dimensions to that, right? Security is
correct.
As we become, because we have got a fairly strong security portfolio, right? Product today. Unified security, right? There's a security product there already there in the out, right? Right there. Then we are running a cloud, right? We are running a green cloud today. Because future, I see what is going to happen is everything is going to go to the cloud, right? You have, you and the cloud. Network is wireless. You may not even see the endpoint devices like you have to, right? A desktop may not be there, servers may not be there. You just, you interact with something, could be somewhere in the cloud, right? Somewhere in the cloud. And I think once everything is going to the cloud, we are there, right? We are there in the cloud. Look at the whole world today. There's a device, there's a network, and the cloud. They only see three things possible in future, right? There's an edge device, the network, and the cloud.
Yeah, in this context, there's something it's been bothering me, right? How does the evolution of this data-driven business? See, right now, I think 70 to 80% of all our data is getting duplicated, right? I mean, pretty much every app in our phones or apps that we consume capture about 70 to 80% of the same data, overlapping.
Yes.
Right. So I think it will get to a point where the technology will evolve, even from a cloud point of view, that whatever the overlapping will get streamlined so that all unique business solutions will capture the unique data points and rest of it will start sharing wherever the common data is required. So I think somewhere the cloud will also see right now the cloud business is thriving because everybody is capturing maximum data of the user with all these identity management and restrictions and GDPR in Europe, which is also followed in, I think, mostly almost copy pasted in India. So all these things will drive for a far more effective data usage. So I think with edge computing also, it becomes much easy to take only essential data that is required from any touch point. So given that, and there are people talking about we will have to have this data centers in every district and all, I think it's somewhere not rightly placed. What's your take on that? I mean,
no, basically, see what happens, see today, if you look at the whole evolution of the technology, right? There's a computing device network. Sometimes one is faster than the other, right? Computer becomes faster, network becomes slower. Networks become faster, computing becomes slower. Today, with 5G coming in, 6G coming in, we have, sort of parity, right? We always suffer from a slow network, right? Slow network, right? When 5G becomes relevant and you look at 6G, talking tens of gigabytes of data, then probably the edge cloud becomes more relevant, right? Because I want things to be very responsive. Because I don't want to push data to somewhere which is far away, maybe which is thousands of miles away. I want to keep it in the edge so that I can only consume what I want, right? So the edge cloud, I think, look at the way 6G and 5G will come in, there'll be a lot more relevance of edge cloud, small clouds, right? Everywhere. But the local data is local. I don't need to push everything because, because if 6G is going to give you 10 Gbps to the device, right? your backend is going to get choked, right? I don't have, the backend, I don't have hundreds of terabytes or thousands of terabytes of backbone today, right?
Correct.
So you'll have to push a lot more to the edge. Data will be produced at the edge, consumed at the edge, right? Only certain things which are, long term, which requires,
Correct.
will go
So
back to
this whole cloud service will change, right? It will become a lot more distributed and
yes, lot more distributed, with high bandwidth coming in, right? High bandwidth is
right.
5G and 6G.
And it doesn't make sense to have those big data center with everything residing
I don't think so.
there.
It will be small data centers. I would say micro data centers, right, everywhere. Eventually, you can think of every base station could be a small data center, right?
Yeah, maybe why even a data center, right? Because we all have so many other devices. So something on the lines of the blockchain framework that works where everything is distributed and you ping what you need. So you actually can do with the very data center concept itself, right?
Yeah, but as an still you will need somewhere you need a huge amount of data too. I think there'll be model where you have something in there distributed, something central will be there because historically many systems were designed centrally and some data has to be centralized somewhere. So you have probably it's a transition, right? It truly distributed is going to take a while, a long time, right? Not going to be possible because of the cost, affordability, right? Things have become a lot more. We need a much higher bandwidth. Ideally, if everything is in blockchain,
5G itself is so significant, right? The bandwidth is huge.
But I think but today if you look at the backbones of any country, right, still the backbone is in terabytes. So it's what's happening if you look at the history, right? Bandwidth is increasing, compute is increasing. There are more and more applications coming to consume that, right? We are always feeling short, right? I'm sure with the real-time streaming, real-time videos will be served from the edge. Someday they're going to choke 5G also, right? Everybody wants real-time streaming from the edge. Drones, self-driving cars, autonomous cars. I think all of them need a huge amount of bandwidth, right?
Right. So, given all this, what's your? Do you see? I seriously believe that every company also has some element of rituals. Every individual also has some amount of rituals and routines. Though, as much as we like to believe that we want to be disruptive thinking, want to be doing things differently, approach everything newly, fresh thinking and all that. So what are your routines and rituals that helps you be what you are or what you do?
I think you want to be very unique. I'll tell you a few things, right? Probably spend an hour to reading every day. Reading, right? Reading is there, always there, right? Reading is always there. Then other thing is I spend a little bit of morning every day or every alternate day doing a little bit of yoga and pranayama, right? Which keeps me a little fit, right? Pretty much every day you need to be yourself fit because you spend long hours either traveling or working long hours. I do every day, right? Literally exercise and stretches in the morning, stretches and deep breathing exercise, keeping fit and running for the day. Then probably I spend because you have so many pressures. I think people little spend an hour or so once in a while solving some problem. That's the way you keep your mind fresh, right? Not distracted by other things. So that keeps on going. That's why you're always have the energy, right? Energy and the motivation to do, and have enough energy to run your day through, right? And, once in a while, I do drive to a forest in a remote place, green, stay where there's no noise, absolutely quiet place, right?
Right. And on the work front, is there some kind of a ritual from a point of the things you do at work? Once you go to office every day, this is the first thing or the only thing I want to do. Only till then, I don't do something else.
I think you have to divide. So basically, previous night is my plan, right? Pretty much, I'm given my calendar. I know what are the meetings are there. So of course, a lot of times goes in meetings, customer calls. So pretty much the day is planned out, right? Planned out. I keep a small amount of time because there are little surprise coming. Somebody wants to call, come and meet. Some employee wants to come and talk. Something is there to handle, right? Something unforeseen, unplanned activity. Right? So pretty much the day is pretty much planned, right? Travel, everything is fairly well planned, right? So there's the previous night I just think about what are the things I have for tomorrow, right? So I just be ready for it.
Being now entrepreneur for how long? It's almost 12, 14 years.
Yeah.
And you've also been part of Aadhaar, which is like I think UPI is the next big thing, right? Otherwise,
yeah.
So these kind of projects under the when you got started independently, and a lot of these things does uh, give you a lot of visibility, positioning, and also your own product journey, which is unique and which gives you a much better competitive edge compared to even multinationals. So, given all these things, how do you see yourself uh, uh, working with the government agencies from a point of where if you're do you see uh, advantage of you being able to influence on policy making, or are you part of such efforts where you're able to drive? Because clearly, what are the things that you're working on have immediate impact and also very long term impact, and it is necessary from a business point of view for our own businesses in India. And also, I think a lot of companies globally will find it very useful even to keep up with the ESG goals or climate change. It obviously has a lot of bearing. So, are you actively participating in any of these kind of activities?
I think we do get invited to not only India, around the world, right? Get invited to work with, maybe a couple of times in the World Bank, then Asian Development Bank, and many of the government agencies in India, right? See, currently today, for example, cloud, we work with NSDL. SDL. Actually, we have created a joint go-to-market to take into how to take the cloud to
other That's now Proteon, right?
Proteon cloud. So we have taken. So we have, many people have been forthcoming. And I think there are quite a few government agencies, right? They just talk to us once in a while, take our inputs. I think that's happening now. Probably it happened, accelerate much further. COVID came, sort of things came to a standstill for 2 years, right? Nobody could travel, meet, right? I'm seeing a lot more, interaction now.
So, are you also involved in any of this G20 efforts currently that is happening with India's presidency?
No, not right now.
Okay. So, if you were to give any advice to them, what any on these lines, do you have anything? Have you thought through anything that this is what you wish they would address or look at?
I think what the G20 can do is, look at the whole world as such, right? With there's a developed world, developing world, and undeveloped world, right? There are three segments, you see, right? And see, for the developing world and underdeveloped world, ESG is going to be a challenge because you need a lot of funds to resource, right? And they can address climate change by, I think, maybe the carbon credits and the trading could be a win-win factor for both the developing world and developed world. The preserve. I think we need most of the Asia and Africa and South America to preserve their evergreen forests, natural resources, and regenerate, right? Some of them have been destroyed. I think G20 plays a big role, funneling some of the carbon credits, the CDRs, money into these regions, so that the local people can continue to preserve their nature and environment, like better way than what they're doing, right? You have lack of funds, right? Biodiversity and all this. Hardly any fund to do that. You need people, you need money, you need resources. I think the G20 can play a big role in diverting a significant amount of funds to these regions. And it's a win-win for both, right?
Wonderful. Well, Srinivas, thank you so much for your thoughts, and I'll soon reach out to you once again for our last part of the conversation on future trends and your perspective on it and predictions as well. So, with that, thank you once again, and to the audience and listeners, we have the links of Srinivas and and his company, the product. So you're free to go click through, look at it, and also his social handles are there in the podcast right below. So feel free to reach out to Srinivas and ask on any clarification that if you may have. With that, hope you're enjoying and continue to enjoy the ride. We'll be back with Srinivas once again, and hope you'll also catch up soon on that. Thank you once again. Thank you, Srinivas.
Thank you.